Blockbuster, Game Boy, Britney Spears, Cartoon Network, iPod, the GameCube. What do all of these things have in common? They're nostalgic as fuck. You know, that feeling that just scratches the right part of your brain. But you know what else is nostalgic as fuck? Camcorders. Yes, the kind that your parents captured every memory with. And if you don't happen to live under a rock, you'll start to notice these camcorders making their way back around. But why? You see, it all ties back to things that my generation enjoyed growing up. As kids get older and older, eventually they try to tap into what made their childhood so memorable. And that's where this story begins. You see this old crusty bin? This is where my family's technology goes to die. And while searching through this bin, I found what led me down this rabbit hole to begin with. Home videos. You see, these weren't Hollywood level movies. These were things like swim lessons, baseball games, Easter, and for some reason, even a video of me being born? Maybe we stay away from that one. But there was something so pure about these. No editing, no BS, just moments captured in time. Watching these was like jumping in a time machine, or uncovering hidden relics. And this feeling that I'm getting right here, this feeling of nostalgia and of capturing these candid moments, this is what I want to recreate. So I want to find a camera that can give me this buttery, perfect sort of vintage look, but something that's also cost effective and easy to use. Now my plan was to just buy the first VHS camera I found on Facebook Marketplace, but they're not really that cost effective and they're definitely not that easy to use. This is because, for those who don't know, VHS cameras record onto actual tapes like these, and you can't really just plug this into your computer. So instead, I decided to buy the first digital camcorder I could find. This one is a JVC from 2008 and cost me 50 bucks. The reason I got this camcorder compared to others was because I felt like it was old enough to still give that sort of vintage aesthetic, but new enough to have one of my favorite features. It records right on to an SD card. And to show you what this camera is capable of, I decided to take it to a place that I spent a lot of time growing up at, a place that was quite nostalgic for me. I'll be honest with you, I think this camera looks like total shit. And you remember that crusty old bin we talked about earlier? Well, this is the point in the story where that comes back into play. You see, I went back through that bin a little bit later and stumbled across this, an actual VHS camera. This camera right here, this was the one that everything throughout my childhood was filmed on. And I know, a few moments ago I was just complaining about how expensive and time-consuming actual VHS cameras can be, but this look is just so nostalgic, so fuck it. So since this camera records on tapes instead of SD cards, we need to get a few accessories to transfer the footage. Obviously you need your camera, battery, and tape. Then you need to get an AV to RCA adapter, and lastly, the iOData GV USB 2 video converter. Links for all of these in the description. I decided to add a few additional accessories, and after everything was said and done, this is what the end product looks like. Now, the best way to capture this footage onto your computer is through OBS Studio. All you have to do is connect your cords to your camera and PC, then screen record everything. And boom, just like that, you now have a digital VHS camera. Side note, if you're thinking about buying the cheapest video converter on Amazon, don't. They work for about 30 seconds and then they overheat and turn your footage into garbage. Not cool. Okay, so it's been a couple months since you last saw me, so bear with me for a second while I explain. You see, after I finished setting up this camera, I found myself faced with a massive problem. I still needed a way to show you what this camera was capable of. Now to do that, I could have easily gone somewhere boring and mundane, shot a quick 30-second video, and called it there. But that sounded like a terrible fucking idea. So instead, I decided to put this video off for a few months and use this camera for its intended purpose. I took this thing to bars, parties, sporting events, essentially anywhere I could with one purpose in mind: to capture candid moments in my life.
I'm gonna put this taco in my mac and cheese.